première question. Richard?
Hi, Cole. Maybe just take us back here when it happened, and the other thing I was going to ask you is if you had something to play for, would you still be out there on the ice if the team was like in a race for a playoff spot?
Yeah, I mean, this happened the first time before Christmas in Dallas, and just an awkward fall. Kind of put it back in myself a couple seconds later, and it wasn't too bad. Second time was in Nashville, same thing kind of happened, and that time was a little more painful, but our medical staff has done a great job with kind of doing some rehab work on it and kind of making me feel 100% in my opinion. But for sure, if we were in a playoff spot, no doubt in my mind I'd still be playing. Really wasn't up to me to stop playing, but in the right circumstances, I feel like this is the best decision long term, and it's hard to come to a conclusion that this is the best, but like I said, long term it'll all work out.
Martin, Luc et Alexandre.
Hi, Cole. Is there already a schedule for the surgery at this point?
Yeah, it's going to happen here pretty soon. Figuring out the final details, but yeah, it'll be pretty soon.
It's for the good of your future. But how tough was the decision? You were on the way probably 40 goals plus season this year. Was it tough to take that decision at a certain point?
It's kind of more tough just to kind of leave your teammates, not be able to battle with them every night. It's tough watching from up top, I'm not going to lie. But yeah, I mean, it's for the best. I think the future down the road will be all good and all work out, but for sure it's tough to kind of end your season early.
Luc et Alexandre.
And this surgery, are you sure 100% you're going to come back as stronger as you were before the injury?
As what, sorry?
Are you sure you're going to come back 100% after the surgery as strong as you were before?
Yeah, I mean, I think the people that are looking after me, they've had guys in the past do it. They know how serious it is and how serious you got to take the rehab and all that. So I got the right people around me looking for what's best for me, and I think having my trust in them, I think I know I can get back to 100% and still be the player I am and hopefully a better one.
You have a few examples of players in different sports who had the same surgery than the one you're going to have?
Yeah, I mean, Josh Anderson on our team had it done by the same doctor that I'm going to be getting it done by. So he's come back. I've had conversations with him this past couple weeks, and also another guy that I'm pretty close with is Zach Werenski. He got it done just about 8 weeks ago. So pretty tight with him, and just to have guys that I can kind of communicate with, and they've gone through it pretty recently. So it's a lot to learn, and it's good to have people around you.
Thank you, Cole.
Alexandre et Gia.
Cole, when the decision was made to go through surgery, was said that new information came into light that led to the decision actually, because you were playing a little bit with it, and then it was decided that you had to stop and go through this. So can you share some of the new information?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I didn't want to stop playing. I had a couple tests done to look at it, more clearly, obviously. But in the end, could have been one more fall, and it could have been even worse. So I guess the risk factor of that, it's hard to face. But in the long term, again, I didn't want to hurt it more and have to do even more with the surgery or have more effects long term. So for me, coming to that conclusion, it's was pretty easy having the guys around me that I trust kind of tell me that's the best option, and I think it'll all work out.
Your agent said that you experienced pain a few months ago, so you just said that it happened just before Christmas, but is that related or?
No, I think it was just more sore in the summer. Nothing really too crazy like it was, during a game, during a fall like that. So I think obviously after the second fall, it was pretty clear that we had to get some tests done and look at it, because after the first one, I didn't really think too much of it. And again, if it was up to me, would love to be still out there. But I guess the recovery process, just to be ready for next season, is kind of where my head's at, and all I want to get back to.
Thanks.
Jean-François.
Cole, you've been talking about Josh Anderson. We spoke to Josh about the shoulder injury that he had last Saturday, and he told us that it was a torn labrum, and he was out for 7 months. Do you think it's going to be the same road for you? Are you expecting to be out 6-7 months?
I think everybody's different. I'm a younger guy, so hopefully my body can kind of heal a bit faster. But no, I think again the timing of this, that's why I've been taken out is to be ready for next season and be back at 100%. So for sure going to be a long process, but it's something that I'm going to really work hard at and be back at 100% as fast as possible.
When you look at what happened with Joshua Norris and Ottawa, is there any concern that you don't want to come back too soon and hurt again the same shoulder?
Yeah, exactly, and that's kind of why we decided not to wait any longer. I think coming back early, rushing that process is not something you want to do. You got to take this really serious, and there's the guys around that I trust. They know what they're doing, and they just want what's best for me. And I think, again, it's been hard to come to that conclusion, but seeing a guy like that maybe come back a little too early, it's something that you really got to take seriously, and which is why I think the best option is to give me the most time to recover and be back for next year.
Stu, Eric, and Arvin.
Just want to confirm, it is a torn labrum, Cole?
I mean, it's just shoulder injury. I'm not going to get too much into the details, but it's the same surgery either way.
You're obviously juggling a lot of balls here. Your agent, the Canadiens. You said you wanted to keep playing. If you kept playing and scored 40, 50 goals, it would obviously improve your contract situation. How much was the contract involved in the decision for Kent Hughes, yourself, your agent, to decide not to play? In other words, is the contract sort of settled at this point, or is that still up in the air?
I mean, I think what's most important is just my health and being able to be on the ice at 100%. I think. I think they know the type of player I am. We've had talks for sure about where my game's at and stuff, but for me, for them, my agent, I think it's all about my health long term, and I think down the road it'll all work out. But I wouldn't say the contract had anything to do with me stop playing. I think it's all about just being healthy and trying to be 100% when I'm on the ice.
Have you ever had any kind of surgery before?
Mm-mm.
Are you nervous at all about this?
No, I just want to get it over with so I can get back to kind of getting better.
Eric.
How did everybody convince you to finally just stop? Like, what was the key factor in making that decision?
Honestly, it was the doctor that I'm going to get surgery with. He was kind of the one that kind of was like, this is pretty serious, and one more awkward fall or something, it could be even worse, and the risk of that, maybe if you're towards the end of your career, it's a little bit different, but going forward for me, I just want to be able to feel 100% and obviously work as hard as I can to be back there as soon as possible, but again, for me, it's just all about feeling healthy and being able to be my best out there for my teammates.
It's the same doctor that did Josh's surgery?
Yeah,
so
correct.
Dr. Peter Miller?
Yep. Yeah.
When did you see him?
Just a Zoom call last week, so yeah.
Arvin, et on va finir avec Marc-André.
Just wanted to make sure when you said in Dallas you popped it in yourself that the shoulder popped out and dislocated when you fell. Is that correct? It's funny to see you today. Like, you don't seem 100% convinced that you should be playing right now. It's interesting that your whole future is at stake. The season's going the way it is. Why do you think it was so hard to convince you to do this?
Just because I want to be out there. I mean, it's tough. It's tough watching. It's tough not being out there practicing with your teammates. Just the day-to-day stuff. It's obviously tough, but I think again, like the people around me that I trust have been nothing but honest with me, and throughout this whole process, it's been just learning myself about what's going on, and obviously, a couple doctors have looked at it, and they all thought that's what's best, and I think they've seen a lot more than I have, and they know kind of the differences in what they like and don't like about it. And long term, I think this is what's best. But for sure, it was tough to kind of sit out that game against Toronto on a Saturday night. That's for sure.
Marc-André.
Just curious, was it painful when you were taking like slap shots or?
Honestly, not really. It's like it's a weird pain in only certain positions, and it wouldn't really happen when I was getting hit. It was only when I was falling. So it's a confusing thing to me too. It's like I feel fine, but shoulders are kind of weird and they kind of work in different ways. So I think it's all for the best to get it fixed, and won't have to deal with this again.
And normally, how long does it take after the surgery to be able to shooting pucks again?
I'd assume somewhere around 3 months, maybe. I think I'll learn throughout the way about how painful it is and stuff, but I still got my left hand, so.
Will you miss shooting pucks?
Obviously, yeah. I mean, I already miss it. I think they took my sticks away in the locker room. They actually did, and my skates. So I'll for sure miss it. But again, I think it's what's best for me long term, and I'll make up for those pucks not being shot.
How many doctors have you seen total? How many opinions?
There's 3 opinions.
Three opinions.
And one last question, Antoine?
Yeah, Cole, hi. A couple of ones for you. First off, you mentioned that you were sore in the summer, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you also had an injury, a shoulder injury, like very early last season. So has it been identified that there may be a shoulder that was vulnerable for a long time, and that surgery would help fix it?
I mean, everything's kind of different. Everything was kind of a different situation. I didn't think it was too serious until, it happened this year twice in kind of like a week or two span. And, that's when I was kind of like, let's get it looked at, maybe see what's actually going on. It wasn't like I was in pain. The medical staff did a great job of, working on me right after it happened and get me back out there as fast as possible. And, they've really helped me out, playing those games that I did, get me back out there feeling 100%. And, we didn't really know anything until we got the images and the MRIs and stuff. So for me, it was all just a learning process. I think it's obviously tough to see what's really going on. And, but again, just fixing it, I'll feel a lot more confident in it. And I think going forward, it's the best decision.
Also,
Thanks, Cole.
apart from just a quick one, apart from the goal scoring, is there which part of your game are you happiest with in the sort of the growth that you've done this season?
I'd say just kind of getting pucks back. When you don't have the puck, you're on defense, and I think I've tried to work hard at kind of getting it back as fast as possible, whether that's in the O zone when you lose the puck or in the D zone. So I think obviously watching is going to be, I think, pretty good for me. From up top, you can see a lot more things, and I think it'll be good for me to see that and talk to the coaches about kind of what I saw, and I think down the road it'll all work out for the best.